In this video we're going to add a button to our form. Adding buttons is also easy, and I'm also going to show you how to do an on-click event for our button. So the first thing we need to do is write another comment for button1, and we want to say var button1 equals new button. You want to say button1.name equals button1, then button1 dot let's do location equals new point, and I'm going to put this at 0, let's say 30. That should put it like below the label. Then button1 dot size equals new system dot drawing dot size. I'm going to say 400. I don't know how large a button should be. Let's say 100 by 100. And then button1 dot text. Text is the text written inside the button. I'm going to make it say click me. And now we're going to compile this. Oh, we also got to write at the bottom and add controls. This dot controls dot add button1. And I made a typo here. It's supposed to be system dot drawing dot size. So let's compile this. And as you can see, I double click this and I have a big button here now. Now we might want to make the button change its dimensions a bit, maybe change its height to 50. And to add a button on click event, we want to create another function, and we're going to create another function and call this function button1 underscore click. And now when we first run this, we're going to get an error, and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to say button1 dot add underscore click, and then button1 click. So we're going to add this function, but the button1 click function, to what happens when you click button1. Now when we compile this, it's going to say type mismatch. The reason is because the type of function button1 click is up here isn't the type of function it needs. We got to give it the correct parameters. To do this, we want to create one for the object, and we're going to write O space colon space object, comma, E space event colon space event args. Now when we build this, as you can see, it's now going to successfully compile, because we have to specify the right parameters in the function. And now these parameters that it takes, O and E, are actually going to be very useful, and I'll show you them later. Actually, I'll show you them now. Something else that's built into this is the message box class. MessageBox.show thanks for clicking me. And so I'm going to make it when you click the button, it's going to say thanks for clicking me. Now as you can see, I have a button, I click it, and it says the message box, thanks for clicking me. One thing that's useful for O is O will pass in everything the button had. So it basically passes in an object that was equal to the button. So if I remember how we gave the button's name button1, if I messagebox.show O.name, it's going to get the name of that button. And so now I run this. So what this is useful for is, let's say you have multiple buttons. If I have button 2, and let's create button 2, And let's say button 2, and let's put its position at 105:30. Let's make this function say, or this one say no click me, and then we're going to have instead of having multiple functions for each button, we're going to have one function called button click, and that's going to handle every button. Now, so we're going to have this one function called button underscore click. Now, as you can see, we also have to control add button 2. Now we have these two buttons, click me, no click me, and this will actually, be able to tell me which button I clicked, even though it's the same, they're both referring to the same function. The reason is because that when the function calls, when you calls on, it sends all its properties into O. It sends all its properties into O, and so O.name will get the name of whatever called this function. And since if I click button 1 calls it, so button 1's name is button 1. And so I could actually do something like say if O.name equals button 1, if button 1 clicked it, then message box.show thanks, you are a good friend. And then else if O.name equals button 2, then message box.show why didn't you click him? And so now it's going to say a different message depending on what button you click. Now when we run this, as you can see, I could click me, thanks, you're a good friend, or this one, why didn't you click him? So that's an example of how to make different, how to use buttons and how to handle the click event.